everyone is on time. My name is Julian Brown, Product Marketing Manager here at Lumu, and I'm very happy to be joined by Ricardo Marquez, our Technical Director. Ricardo, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Julian. Thank you all for joining us today.
All right, so I think we're gonna jump in at this point. Before we start with our scheduled presentation, something I do want to share with you is we're going to be looking at some of the latest developments in Lumu today. Basically how we're extending detections from not just the network, but also to other sources like endpoints, identities, cloud detections, that kind of thing. Anytime you are interested in seeing the latest updates in Lumu, I recommend that you can come to this page over here. Over here, we list basically as soon as we have a new update, you can check it. It's in our webpage, lumu.io. You go to resources, what's new, and you can see everything over here. I recommend that you bookmark this page, and basically everything we're going to be covered today, like log tampering, anonymized login incidents, DNS tunneling incidents, and all the other detections and updates we've had over the last few months, you can find on this page. Thank you for sharing that link over there in the chat. In particular, we have quite an exciting update that came from last week, and that's the Lumu Threat Observatory. So this is an update from Lumu Multiverse. Ricardo, can you give us a little bit of background on what Multiverse is?
Certainly, Julian. Guys, Multiverse has been part of Lumu since 2025, the acquisition, and it is our threat intelligence technology. We offer that as a threat intelligence platform, as an engine of intelligence for Lumu Defender as well. So it's really cool. We turn complicated threat intelligence and raw data into something easy to go ahead and consume actionable and verified threat intelligence, okay? With more than 100 global threat intel sources.
All right, and in particular, this new feature, the Lumu Threat Observatory, is something that will allow you to basically explore threat intelligence a little bit. So you can choose your region, you can choose the industry you represent, and then get a live feed of which threat actors and malware is targeting, which IOCs also are targeting that specific geography and sector. All right, Ricardo, do you want to show us what that looks like live quickly? Very briefly?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to transition the screen here. Is giving me a little bug. Give me a second, please.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Sean, so this is nothing to do with Spider-Man or
Here we go.
Doctor Strange. This is MAL multiverse, not MUL multiverse. Okay, fantastic. There we are. Yes, perfectly.
Okay. So, guys, we're really excited about this. This is the Lumu Threat Observatory. And here, the big novelty is that we're able to allow users to go ahead and configure the solution and the panel to represent what is the region, their industry, and their segment, actually. So everything that we bring related to indicators of compromise and threats is automatically sorted out. So we can see here that just answering those three questions, you'll be able to go ahead and see threat actors and different malwares and indicators right away. When we go into that, we really see the convergence directly here. We can see 89,000 types of indicators of compromise related to IP, domains, URLs ready to block. And you can explore different aspects of the regions, industries, and sub-industry. Julian, this is really cool.
All right. I think we have a quick poll for you guys. If you're interested in seeing a full training on Multiverse and the Threat Observatory, Sonia, can you line up the next poll? Please just answer yes or no, whether in the future we can give you guys training on this particular feature in more fully. But yeah, I recommend exploring it a bit. It's quite fun if you see, like, I don't know, a news article pop up on a certain type of attack that is taking over, then or happening in the news, then you can come explore here if that is basically how live that is in the Threat Observatory.
Yeah,
All
Julian,
right.
we can zoom into that, and we know that we can have threats and threat actors related to that industry, and we show everything, and we can integrate that directly with EDR, firewalls, and SIEMs, okay? That is in a nutshell.
Oh, okay, good. So 25, 83%, 27. Fantastic. Yeah, looks like there is interest in this, and probably in the future we will have a live training for you guys on this particular feature. Awesome. I'm gonna go back at this point to our regularly programmed training, returning to Lumu Defender here. At this point, I will end the poll. So 85% said that yes, they are interested in seeing a full training on multiverse and the threat observatory. So fantastic. We'll arrange that for you guys sometime soon. So before we get into showing you these new detections that we have prepared and that you guys can see in the product update page, here's a little bit of context on why we have started releasing these new detections. Essentially, in this screen, you can see how a lot of typical cybersecurity stacks have isolated controls. You have your identity controls, you have your endpoint controls, you have cloud controls, you have perimeter controls like firewall and IDS, but they're all siloed. They don't speak to each other. And what we're seeing more and more is that the modern attacks, represented by this red arrow in the middle coming through them, they live on these various different points in your cybersecurity stack. So if these controls aren't speaking to each other, basically the attacks are able to slip through your network or your defenses. So what we started doing is that now we are basically collecting telemetry, not just from the network like we always have, but also from endpoints, also from identities, email, and other sources like the cloud. What's important to note here is that we're not just taking the alerts from some other cybersecurity stack and regurgitating them. We're taking the raw telemetry and we're combining these things to create our own detections with our own proprietary detection algorithms. And another important point to make here is that this is active basically in all the different parts of your cybersecurity stack that you are doing business. So this is on your on-premise environments, from the cloud, roaming devices, IoT devices, operational technology. Lumu gets visibility from all those different points in your stack. All right. And then the final point I want to make before we get into the nitty-gritty of the actual detections themselves is that we are integrating with basically the rest of your stack to do this as well. So we're not just collecting telemetry from these disparate points, we're also sending responses through to them so that you are able to respond at these different points of the attack and stop attacks. Sonia, at this point, I'd like to line up the last poll that we have prepared for you guys. We're curious to see what industries you guys are representing. So again, I think it's single choice only. So we have manufacturing. Okay. Operation technologies, government. Okay. It's about one each at this point. So lots of different industries being represented.
Look at that.
Looks like IT services are winning. Ricardo, you can see this as well, right?
Yes, I can see that. It's a very diverse audience in sector.
Yeah, super.
It's really interesting. It maps back to that importance about knowing the threats in your environment and in the ecosystem.
Also, like points to the fact that Lumu is able serves multiple industries, not just focused on one vertical like finance or healthcare. Oh, quite a few from healthcare there as well. Okay, interesting to see. Fantastic. Thank you for answering that for us.
That is really cool.
Okay, and on this point, we're going to move on to the new detections. First of all, we have DNS tunneling detections, and then anonymized login and log tampering. In the DNS tunneling detections, just to quickly explain to you guys, DNS tunneling is a type of attack that threat actors use to exfiltrate data most of the time, and basically they hide sensitive information in a URL that gets sent out, and then they are able to extract that information from the URL itself. Right, so is there anything else you want to add on this point here, Ricardo?
I think that is really interesting how we can not only make something that is complex a reality, because following tunnels across a network is not something that is not easy, and how it's really being used by attackers to hide all sorts of communications, command and control, extrusion of data, all types of scenarios, not only just create that tunnel alone. So very sneaky.
All right. And yeah, can you show us what one of these attacks would look like in the Lumu portal?
Definitely. So what we're going to do now with the Lumu portal is really direct here. Just share that. Hopefully it's showing properly.
Yep, I see your screen.
Yeah. So here we're looking at the events table. We can have at a glance all sort of events, and we're filtering right now regarding DNS tunneling. So from all the bunch of detections that we have, we're going to zoom into DNS tunneling. DNS tunneling allows for different types of scenarios. For example, attackers use it as command and control. They're used to transfer data. Right away, this is telling you the incident is detected automatically and is showing the patterns related to covert transmission, right? This can happen at different moments. It tells us immediately as well regarding the authoritative servers. This is relevant to understand how is this being a tunnel point to point. So I like very much that as the first detection in the environment, this endpoint is seen communicating over 6,323 records in the environment. Mm-hmm. The important is that we're able to account why is this happening, how many are related to the notion of the tunneling. We see the traffic. This is important because we're separating the normal traffic, normal DNS from what is actually the tunnel being used. And we are able to also go and zoom into time. How is this happening? In which way does specific condition is happening right now? So this is at the latest, at the moment. So what's
and back? Correct me if I'm wrong, but these DNS tunneling is used for not just data exfiltration, but also for command and control, correct?
Yes, it's being used as command and control. It's being used also to extrude process data, credentials, all sort of resources that facilitate the life of the attacker to be in the environment in a sneaky way, to be persistent there. This is helpful for them. So typically it's used after phishing attempts, phishing attacks, lateral movement. Very relevant to be able to understand. And we're seeing in this case, Julian, that is related to a SCADA environment, so operational technology. Okay. It's a server. So typical servers, there are a lot type of systems, librarian and other important components, right? So
yeah, it might be relevant to just ask the question here. What is the relevance of SCADA systems and how that relates to operational technology?
Yeah, this is really important because those are the systems that are taking care of how the production environment is operating. So really critical in terms of its functionality. If you see a SCADA system, a console, an operation control panel, doing DNS tunneling, this is absolutely not normal. We're simplifying the way that you can sort it out. Lumu Defender is very practical for environments that are so sensitive like that, can detect quickly and easy and continuously. So this is very relevant to spot this type of espionage threats, type of silent threats that are characteristics of those type of environments.
Okay, I want to remind the audience at this point that if you guys have any questions about this, you can ask them live and we'll try to answer them. We already have a few questions that we will be... actually, here's a relevant question from Sean. Does the detection of DNS tunneling attacks require Lumu DNS?
No, we can certainly use the DNS, and it is one of the points of telemetry that we collect, right? And we have our gateways and forwarders as well that you could use, but no, it doesn't depend. With the use of our virtual appliances, with the use of our agents as well. So the detection is very useful, and as well with our capabilities to use NetFlow. So as soon as we see network traffic, we're able to spot this thing. And we can provision service like Active Directory and others where our Lumu agent that is able to pick up DNS, user information, and the resolution process.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that question, Sean. All right, at this point, we are going to move on to the next detection. Let me just share my screen here. There we go. Thank you for that explanation, Ricardo. So next we will be looking at anonymized login. So basically this is a situation where somebody's trying to log in and some kind of anonymizer is being used to obfuscate where that's coming from. It can either be a VPN or a Tor network or some other kind of anonymizer. Do I have that right, Ricardo?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And it is so important because in an environment where everybody's after the identity, right? So attackers get those credentials and they go ahead and use it right away for those scenarios of logging in from different situations, different contexts. So it's really relevant to what you're explaining here, Julian.
Okay, let's have a look at what one of these incidents looks like in the Lumu portal.
Of course, let's take a look at that. So now I sorted out.
Can tell me the story. What is happening with this incident?
Yeah, this is really interesting. In this scenario, I want you to think about when somebody is on day-to-day browsing, day-to-day type of situations, and we go ahead and see a user, right? So this user here is being captured initially with our Entra ID integration. So, and they're getting perceived about a login from Tor or VPN or proxy. But the interesting point is like, once your identity might be compromised, might be obtained through phishing or other type of situations that might lack, what we're seeing right away here is that not only it's happening and we're tracing that situation, right? And we see the duration of the situation, we see the user, and we notice that he has MFA enabled, and the user rights, the context that it has, and the importance. So look at this, Julian. We're seeing Tor detected logins through VPN from two different impossible travel situations, right? And it's happening at pretty much the same moment. Yeah. So it keeps going back and forth. So this user, of course, has lost those credentials. It's a scenario that attackers also probe. So attacks that are related to remote access, remote desktop type of context. A lot of campaigns are related as well with fake help desk support. So those type of services, they create a risk if they're not well monitored and you don't understand this reality. And we facilitate this work, right? We're simpler than ITDR solutions in terms of investment, but this is a capability that we believe provide real value to our customers to simplify the administration.
Okay. Again, a reminder, if anyone has any questions about this, let me know.
Yeah.
Here's a quick question. Why would an attacker want to anonymize their login attempts?
Well, not only because the scenario of where it's coming to a service that is non-mapped or non-expected, but you can see at this moment that the attacker might want to come through a different type of condition. Also, it's not necessarily using the email, it's not necessarily using what is typical of the environment. In this case, we can see that the incident shows even the application context, what is the type of client application, the operation system. So what if we don't expect that through Linux? So they're trying to make their way into the easiest path and in a sneaky way. So we can even show the Entra ID, and we can show as well the context of those rights and how often has this occurred in a given system. So you can sort out what is a legitimate user versus an anomaly here. So the attacker is interested to blend as a normal user, Julian. So, and this allows us to spot those nuances. Really easy, really direct.
Okay, fantastic. I think at this point we are going to move on to the final detection we want to show you today, and that is gonna be log tampering. All right.
Indeed.
Uh, we had a quick question from Cristiano. Just when you click on the entry ID, and this is related to the last detection. If you click on the entry ID, does it redirect to those events?
It does. It does. That entry ID point is a pivot point, and we're also able to capture those last logins activities into the incident. Okay, so we show the context of the user rights and those behavioral aspects. We show Entra and the actual log.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't show that to you just now. Important to note probably that you would need administrator access to Entra ID as well as the Lumu portal to see that interaction. All right, so next, log tampering. So this is essentially just, I believe, an attempt or a situation where the attacker is trying to hide their footprints. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that is one of the scenarios, Julian. So in this case, the attacker, think about it, they compromise the servers, then they delete or alter the authentication logs to hide their persistence, just as you mentioned. So log tampering detection, it's sketching that gap, right? That change of integrity. So, and we're providing visibility in something that is typically sophisticated because EDRs have a tough time, but they also not perfect, so they could be bypassed or certain new techniques could happen. So we're able to also complement the environment and spot that. So, and that is by itself an indicator, of course, of malicious activity. So the fact that you're trying to erase that scenario. So, okay.
Okay, right. Let's see what it looks like. I actually think my screenshot here is a little bit outdated. So let's see the live version, see what that incident looks like at the moment.
Yeah, I hope the screen has transitioned already. And
Yes,
here we are
we can
at the
see the screen.
incident again. And we're seeing that Lumu Defender is telling us that there is a log tampering incident. We're gonna go there. And here I want you to consider this type of scenario, right? Imagine that the admin gains, the attacker might gain admin access and start to clear logs or to modify the security logs. So the Windows event login system is so important. So that will believe, that makes me believe immediately, right, that these are traces of lateral movement or persistence. So it is a critical act, not only what they're trying to do to destroy the evidence, but how they're doing it. So here at our detection, we're already telling you what is the label. So where does it come from in your infrastructure? The asset, the fact that we're detecting that scenario, and we're seeing, okay, there's a total of events. So we're seeing it's one or several times, depending on what is happening, right? But I like a lot that we make it so easy to understand something complex, which is I'm seeing that is happening. I see that there is a user associated with that, and then we get context. And in context, there's an important step, which is we are obtaining not only visibility, but evidence. I'm able to see what is happening related to the file system. What are the actions related to the recent PowerShell type of command, right? The prefetch files. So these are cache files from applications. The network activity, what this computer has recently talking to and talking with who, in which port, in which condition, which tool. So this essentially is not telling me just that, oh, I saw a log tampering type of situation, but it's giving me the panorama of what they're trying to hide at which moment. And that is because from scheduled tasks, services, and more importantly, the activity of the user. I like this a lot because we're seeing the last changes in user. So when we see that ace tag user, we're getting the context. Julian, I think that it brings a whole new perspective. Incident responders will love this. Security operation teams will love this because we are shortening the time between what needs to be understood and the implications of it in something that is difficult to spot, even for EDRs, okay? Because they can get bad.
Right, that was going to be my next question. So, are these types of incidents related to, or potentially related to, attempts to evade EDRs and antiviruses?
Yes, yes. Different techniques that are related to that. For example, attackers can bring their own vulnerable or malicious driver. They have ways also to create certain techniques that inject, that go and exploit the weakness in the trust systems that is related to the operation of the EDR, right? So with this, even if you don't see completely because the EDR might fail at a certain point or not, or is getting just part of the action while it's trying to do its best, we're able to complement this. We're able to see this. And typically, obtaining this is related to a step that will feel like forensics. We're doing an automation here. We're bringing everything right away with simplicity in the context at the first moment. So we are saving time, we're saving complexity, we're reducing the barrier to understand something that before it would take probably days or an effort that even if the person is not capable of doing it because of lack of expertise or focus, we are already shortening this and presenting concise information. So I like it a lot.
Okay, all right. So that is the last detection we wanted to show to you guys. Just quickly in summary, basically we looked at DNS tunneling, which is a network-based attack, and then we looked at anonymized logins, which is more of an identity-based attack, and then finally here we have log tampering, which is more of an endpoint-focused attack. So this really just shows how, you know, we're expanding out from the network. We're not just focusing on network-based detections, but also other detections. Attacks have evolved, and NDR needs to evolve as well.
Definitely.
All right, so we are going to move on to the Q&A section of today's talk. I don't think we have too many questions left over. So if you guys have more questions, please do send them either in the chat or in the Q&A feature. All right. There was a question in the chat about multiverse. It was basically if you can use your Lumu login to get into or to log into multiverse.
Yes, Julian, and it's really interesting. And seizing the moment, I'm already in the incident details here, and you can see different types of incident. I'm gonna pick this malware incident here. So this is related to a malware family called Luma Stealer. And what we comment that in the incident, we can also go to the threat intelligence context of that incident. We share the threat intel, we show it, and look here, we have a pivot point directly to multiverse. So when we click here, it goes directly to multiverse. It shows the information, of course, and you will see that we're right here again. So there is this back and forth, and we even enhance that with two different links here, right? That you can hover and go back to the Defender and the other.
I just want to confirm there. I think you do need a separate login to log into multiverse. Maybe you can just share the link with you guys quickly for where you can log into multiverse.
Yes, and multiverse has a free tier as well, has a community tier. So you guys are most welcome to go ahead and obtain the community tier, and you're able to see that. The information that we share today regarding multiverse at Threat Observatory is available for our customers that have the intelligence and the platform levels. But either way, you're most welcome to go ahead and obtain a community login.
Okay, let me just see where I can answer that. All right, do you guys have any other questions for us today? All right. Any other points you would like to make at this point, Ricardo?
No, I want to appreciate everybody's time. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for responding to our polls. So look forward to seeing you guys again with some more cool information from Lumu.
All right, guys, thank you so much, and keep an eye out for the next training. We love having you here with us, and we're looking forward to the next one. Have a good
Hey
one.
guys, sorry, here at the back end, I think we just received two new questions on the chat.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I
just
missed those.
don't worry, we just received them. I think one is from John Phillips and the other one, yeah.
I'm just looking for the chat. I seem to have lost this chat.
I'm just seeing two questions into the Q&A, Sean's and Cristiano's only.
Let me just share.
It's in the
I can
chat
read
over
them
here.
if you prefer. So John Phillips asked, when in multiverse, by the way of Lumu, when I click certain links, it redirects to a login.
Yes, you need to be logged into both Multiverse and in Lumu for that to work.
Yes,
That's correct.
just to explain, the community
Yeah.
tier would allow you to have a login to Multiverse.
Yeah.
And also,
And it is free as well.
We just share with everybody the links to login or register on Multiverse there at the chat. I'm going to send them again so we can have them easy there to grab. And we have another one. It's a little bit long, Juliana and Ricardo.
I see it here. Does the Threat
yeah,
Observatory rely solely on... Okay, thanks, Anya. Does the Threat Observatory rely solely on external threat intelligence sources, or does it also correlate Lumu's telemetry and compromise intelligence with observed threats to determine which campaigns are the most relevant to a customer?
I love this question. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We use both. Multiverse is keeping an eye on the threat horizon. We're gathering threat intelligence from the world in real time, right? We validate it, we check it, we correlate it. And the validation is really important because that's what we do with Lumu Defender, right? Lumu Defender is covering different environments across the world with many, many assets being monitored in real time and continuously. So what we do is, since we're able to see the presence of these indicators of compromise into this monitor and protected environment, we're able to raise and validate that they're happening. So we're able to pinpoint where in the world, the regions, the segment, the type of industry, the size of the networks. We go ahead, we anonymize that data, and we use it to tag and to go ahead and bring that threat intelligence to life in a unique form that is very differentiated, by the way.
Yeah, so as I understand it, basically, Lumu's visibility allows us to validate whether that intelligence is better and improves the intelligence. So tell your friends. The more people who use Lumu, the better the threat intelligence gets, and that gets fed back to you as well, like herd immunity. We have another question over here. If log tampering is confirmed to be malicious, can the human team take action directly from Lumu, or does Lumu handle it autonomously?
Can you restate that? Pardon, I missed a little part of it. It was kind of long.
So it's if log tampering is confirmed to be malicious, can the human team take action directly from Lumu, or does Lumu handle it autonomously?
Lumu will not handle that aspect autonomously. We will try to stop the situation if any type of communication is going back and forth from that host. So those incidents, they take care of themselves and we can respond. We have response integration with different vendors, right? Different contexts of vendors. So there's something that can be done there. We also have an exposed API. The scenario, the log tampering is a detection of context. So it's really important, and we use the agents to do that. Our agents are able to have built-in response towards IP, DNS, and domains and URLs. Okay, so it might isolate the relationship of that type of command and control that is happening. Again, the user will not be able to be doing that if there's not a persistence and lateral movement. When we see that connection with a remote point, we'll try to interrupt it right away.
Okay, here's the last question that we probably have time for. We'll see. Do you consider yourselves a replacement for a SOC or a SIM? Are you able to correlate events, user activity, logins, and user behavior?
That's an interesting question. Well, Lumu Defender can perform real correlation, right, of behavior of the logs, the activity, and we capture all of that metadata to be able to do that in the environment. So We can hold the data as well for 2 years embedded into our service, right? So to gather as evidence, but we're not a SIEM specifically. So we're able to provide response, which is really way more important if we do it really quickly. Because if you have a SIEM and you don't have it instrumented with custom rules and custom conditions, you just have a visibility point of logs. We're doing action. We're doing that continuously. We're seeing that. We're responding with your environment. We're holding the clue. So, and we can partner with those SIEMs as well. We have many use cases of integration, direct support out of the box and custom. And we're also able to reduce user costs, right? The enterprise costs around SIEM. Because since we can hold data as well, we have a good relationship with the SIEM, and we provide a very interesting case of cost reduction.
Yeah, especially when it comes to network logs, we can store the network logs in Lumu, so you can take that off of your SIM and save a lot on data costs in your SIM. I know that some of our customers have, like customers that found managing and operating a SIM to be too complex or too basically human resource intensive. They've been quite happy with replacing their SIM with Lumu.
Yes, and there's another interesting point there, Julian. We make it easier, right? We make it about the analysis and the defense, and we can analyze the actual network data, which is different than what the SIEM might actually do, okay? So we give sense, we give context to what's happening immediately.
Okay, I think we're coming up in 40 minutes here, and this is probably when we're gonna call it to this webinar to a close. Again, thank you everyone for joining us. It's been lovely having you with us. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.